Well, we are here with Jimmy the Brick Flick. Okay, that's an interesting nickname. Now, it fits MMA so well. I mean, even with my backgrounds on some of my images, I use bricks because there's something about bricks in MMA that just go. But you're the first brick that I've seen, that I've heard of. So tell me, where did this nickname come from, my man?
All right. Yeah. The brick, everybody thinks I got bricks for hands. Honestly, that's not the reason I got the nickname. The reason I got the nickname is because I'm solid all over like a brick. I'm good everywhere. I'm not just good in one spot. I'm solid all over like a brick. But since we're talking about it, I'll go ahead and call out Victor the Brick Martinez that wants to take my nickname. I feel like he's the only other brick I know, but he's a good fighter. He's out of Texas. I feel like they seen me fight and they seen the nickname the Brick and they wanted it as well. But it's all good, man. Like you said, the Brick, it's meant for fighting and it goes real good with it.
I really believe that. I really do believe that. Like I said, I use them all the time. So we got some exciting news here. LFA is putting on 4 title fights in 1 month. And in the span of this 1 month, like I said, 4 titles will be up for grabs. You're fighting for one. You're fighting for these dang things. All right, so let's talk about the fight itself. How did it materialize? And then we'll go ahead and talk about the guy on the other side of the cage when the time comes.
Well, as everybody will know when they follow me, I'm very active on social media. I feel I'm one of the most active and highest promoted fighters out there. Most of these fighters don't promote. They don't post like I do. I advertise my sponsors through the roof. I advertise everything I do from when I wake up in the morning. Here and there, I'll keep off, but most of the time, I'm always on social media promoting myself. I keep most of my family off of it because it's all about my career. That's what I'm pushing. That's what I like to do. I'm 2-0 in LFA. I was my first fight in LFA. I fought UFC vet Johnny Bedford. I was a 5-1 underdog in LFA 16, and I put Johnny Bedford to sleep, and I sent him to bare knuckle. So now he's the bare knuckle world champs, thanks to yours truly. So you're welcome, Johnny. And a couple years later, they called me on 2 weeks' notice to fight CJ Hamilton. I fought him at a catchweight 130 on 2 weeks' notice, and I choked him out in the second round, put me at 2-0 in LFA, and I've been rallying for my title shot ever since. I had my manager, Dorothy, contact them because, like you said, they said they were starting July 10th. I was shooting for July 10th. I mean, I'm ready to go. So I've been calling for UFC. I've been calling for Dana White, Tuesday Night Contender, everything. I'm ready. And LFA said, we got a title fight the 24th of July. I said, send me a contract. I didn't ask the opponent, nothing. I didn't care. So send me a contract. They sent me the contract. I signed it, and I sent it back. And we're fighting 10-1 Greg Fisher. Don't know much about him, but it's going to be another good win on my resume, that's for sure.
Well, he's 10-1. He's fought in higher weight classes, it looks like, and he's so far, from what I can tell, on the odds online is you're going to be a huge underdog again.
Awesome, man. People like making money off of me, man. CJ Hamilton, I was an underdog. Johnny Bedford, I was a 5-1 underdog. I had a buddy hit me up and say he made some good money on that. So these betting odds, I don't know why they're always against me, but I love it.
Well, it's definitely good for the betting. So anybody that wants to bet, I think you're a pretty safe one.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, looking at the guy's record, he's fought.
His last 4 fights, he's fought game opponents. He's got 1 loss by decision. He's never been finished. And that's what I do. I show up and I finish. I got 13 wins and only 2 by decision, and that was to the same guy.
That must have been a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, he was tough. I beat him in the
right.
I fought him. He was 6-2, and I was 0-0 when I made my Bellator debut in Bellator 20, and I took him out by unanimous decision. They underestimated me. So then we fought for a title in another company, and I beat him up for another 5 rounds and chucked the Iceman Liddell, put the title around my waist. So it was well worth it.
Very nice. And let's talk about the career as a whole. You're talking, you made your Bellator debut in 2010. I looked at the card and I'm like, holy shit, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, we had Jared Hess on that card. We had Marcus Money Souza. You had even UFC vet Eddie Sanchez, man. I mean, it was a hell of a card, man. And I went in there on my debut against a 6-2 guy and took him out. And I started my career in Bellator. I was the first person to fight and win in Bellator in the flyweight division.
Nice. So how come that never materialized in anything?
The flyweight division. I was 19 or 20 years old at the time. I was 7-0 as an amateur with 7 finishes, with 2 titles, one at 125 and one at 135. When Bellator called, I asked for a flyweight, and honestly, I emailed them. At that time, they had their website up. I emailed them myself, and I got the fight. They emailed me back, and I had a guy at the gym get the contract for me, and we showed up. We did work, and they wanted me to fight again at 135. At that time, I was 20 years old. I walk around at 138 at that time. Now I walk around about 145. So that's why I try not to fight at 135. I mean, I'll do it if I got to, but only one person's ever beat me at flyweight, and that's Will Capizano, and that was my first loss for the LFC, Legacy Fighting Championship, 125 title. So I've been in this sport a long time, over 10 years. I'm coming up on, this will be my 19th professional fight. And you're telling me I'm an underdog against a guy that's 10-1, never fought a UFC vet, never beat a UFC vet, never been where I've been in my career. But I'm just highly underestimated. It's just this little white boy, don't look like I can beat anybody up. But, I do it. I train hard, and I put the work in, and when I go out there and fight, I really show what I can do.
Well, and see, that's the thing about fighting too. A lot of your finishes come from submission, and you were talking about you look very not like a fighter. You know what I mean? When somebody asks, what does he do? Oh, he might be an accountant. You know what I mean? But that just reminds me of, like, look at guys like Joe Lozon. That dude doesn't look like he could hurt a fly. And he's one of the baddest dudes in the world. You know what I mean? So real quick, though, I want to take it back and ask you this question, and it's more about longevity. You were talking about Bellator 20, Will Campuzano.
Oh, crap. Lost you. There we are. We're back.
That's right here. He hasn't fought, in about 6 years, the Will Campuzano. So how do you stay in the game so long, especially when lighter guys aren't known for hanging around too long?
Yeah, it's very tough, and that's why if you look at my win-loss record, most of my losses are at 35. I'll go on a win streak at 125, and then I cannot keep rallying for 25 fights. I beat Jamison Saudito. 2 weeks later, I fought CJ Hamilton, and that was back-to-back 125 fights. Then the UFC was talking about cutting the flyweight division. I'm a very active fighter. I try to stay active, and I didn't want to wait. So we turned around and we fought Ray Rodriguez for the 135 title here in Oklahoma, in my hometown. And I moved back up to 35. And after having a very good first round, it came out in the second round, and I got caught, man. Or, he put me up against the cage, caught me with an elbow, and knocked me out. But it's killed or be killed. I have 3 total fights that went to a decision out of 18 pro fights. I do not like to go to the judges, win or lose. I fought in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's on UFC Fight Pass for King of the Cage. The guy beat me up a little bit, but I did take him down every round. I had his back in every round for 3 to 4 minutes, and I lost by unanimous decision. And that's my only loss on my record by a decision, and I will never let it happen again. That's why I go out there and I finish my opponents. If you watch the fight with Johnny Bedford, hopefully LFA, hopefully y'all put that out for me. We put that whole fight out there just besides the highlight. why people can see it. I broke that guy. I took his heart. I took his soul. And I made him quit in the third round, and I put him to sleep, and he left the cage, packed his stuff, and went to bare knuckle. So I'm looking to make a statement in this LFA fight, and I want my shot at the UFC. My opponent's combined record is 130 wins and 68 losses. After I fight Greg Fisher, it's going to be 140 wins and 69 losses. That's my opponent's combined record. Not what their record is now. This is what their record was when I fought them. So I'm not fighting chumps. The last 5 guys I fought, I think, had almost 20 fights. So I want to fight the best. I don't care who it is. And if it stays at flyweight, I'm taking you out.
Okay. And so let's talk about what's next. Okay. You seem like a pretty confident guy. Okay. You're gonna win the LFA title, and then they're gonna shove a microphone in your face. Or maybe they'll shove the microphone, via social distancing or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure they're gonna have that going on. But I mean, I'm sure you've got your opponent's combined records ready for an interview. Now that's interesting. That shows like a like serious dedication to yourself. I mean, because that's something to fucking throw around, right? Is your opponent's combined record, and it's on the plus side, not the negative side. You're not fighting guys that are 3-8.
Yeah, exactly.
So when the time comes, okay, you're gonna have a shiny gold belt. You're gonna have an LFA commentator asking you questions. What are you gonna fucking tell them?
I'm gonna tell them it's time, baby. I've worked way too hard for this, and the Tuesday Night Contender show, I'm rallying for that now. If they want to call me on short notice for the Tuesday Night Contender show, I told them I'm ready. If that's what it's going to take to fight in front of Dana White, I'll do it. But if I got to go win this LFA title and call for my shot in the UFC, that's my plan. I want to go earn this shot, and I want to call out Brandon Royval, the last person to hold the 125 title, and he just went to the UFC and took out number 10, Tim Elliott. I tried to have that. I actually got contacted for that fight before he fought and won the title. I accepted that fight right off the couch. I wasn't even training. My manager called me, said that his guy pulled out, and I had the fight. And I was the first one contacted. 4 days later, they announced that he was fighting Jared Scoggins, not me. I never found out what really happened and why I didn't get that fight. 4 weeks later, his opponent pulls out. They called me on 1 week's notice, and they're like, you want to take this fight? And I was like, look, no, I took this fight 4 weeks ago straight off the couch. You're not going to call me and ask me a week now to take it on a week's notice. I said, we can reschedule it for your next show, and I'd love to fight him for the next title. And then they brought some guy in, and Brandon armbarred him in 45 seconds and got a shot in the UFC. So that's what I want. I want to win the title, and I want to call LFA's last champ, Brandon Royval, out and try to get that shot in the UFC.
Well, I tell you what, Brandon Royval is a hell of an opponent, and I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Royval's good, man. He was tested against Elliott. You know what I mean? He had to find the dog in himself, which is a play on his own nickname. But you know what I mean? So I like that. I like that a lot. You guys aren't known for going to decision.
Nah, and he ain't raw dogging me, man. So he can take that.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. All right, so what got you into this fight business?
Man, here in Oklahoma, wrestling's really huge. I started wrestling when I was 3 years old. They used to tape my singlet up in the back to make it fit because I was so small. I wrestled my whole life. Growing up, we were really poor. My dad kept me in sports, though. School just was not my thing. I stayed in school for sports. I was very active in wrestling. I was a 5-time state runner-up. Unfortunately, I never won state. But when I turned 17, I just wasn't doing the right stuff. My dad pulled me out of school, moved me down to Corpus Christi, Texas, and got me in a gym. I started training. By the time I turned 18, I took a fight at the amateur level. My first amateur fight was 31 seconds, and I armbarred the guy. Fell in love with it. I fought in a bar that was standing room only, and everybody was smoking cigarettes on my way out, dude, saying, kick his ass, Seabass. So I've went through so much. I'm so ready for this LFA event. Everybody keeps asking me, well, there's no fans. There's no fans. I don't care if there's fans. I don't care if there's a million fans. I'm there to do one thing only, and that's to get my hand raised.
Man, I love it, man. I love that kind of energy, man. It's also hard to find somebody that can compete in that quiet environment. You know what I mean? I mean, it's almost a street fight in the back of an alley, but with a referee, right?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. When I go out there and fight, most of the time, all I hear is my cornerman anyway. I don't hear nobody else. I've been in this sport for so long, from wrestling and Cliff King, nationals. We've had thousands and thousands of people there. They've also done matches where it's only two kids out there wrestling while everybody's watching. So I feel like I'm ready for all opportunities, and I don't think Greg Fisher's went through what I've went through in all my career, and I'm ready for everything, and I cannot wait for this moment.
I can't wait for it either, man. It's a shame it's so fucking far away because you're getting me pumped up over here.
Yes, man. I'm excited. We got 4.5 weeks out. As everybody can tell on my social media, I'm killing it. I do CrossFit 3 times a week. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning 3 times a week to go hit CrossFit. I train 5 times a week after work. I have a wife. I got 2 kids. So I'm sacrificing a lot for this, and I'm not going to let it pass me by.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't, because on the other side of this LFA title is probably a UFC contract. I mean, think about it. Almost every single LFA champ, they hardly defend. You know what I mean? It's as soon as they win the belt, they're getting signed to the UFC. I mean, They're trying to build this flyweight division. It seems like they're really trying to make a run. You know what I mean? So, and especially if that's going to be your weight class going forward. Now, what happens if the UFC cuts the flyweight? Is it bantamweight then?
Yeah, it's bantamweight, baby. I mean, I don't care what I got to do, or it's get that passport and we go to ONE FC. Like that's also an opportunity right there. You also got Brave bringing the flyweight division. They got a tournament going over there with Jose Torres, I believe. I don't know if they started it because of the pandemic, but I know they were going to do a flyweight tournament over there as well. So the flyweights are not dead. It's up to the UFC if they want to keep it. And when Joseph Benavidez and that other guy fought, I call him the other guy because he didn't make weight, and they're going to be rematching. But I fought the same night. I fought Jesse Bozzi for the 125 title here in Oklahoma on February 29th, on leap year this year. The same night they fought for that title. And when I found out that guy didn't make weight, I was worried the flyweight division was getting cut. Then we turned into this pandemic, and it's kept me from being active. It's trying to stop my momentum from going. And I've been telling everybody 2020 is my year, and it's strap season. And we already got one strap. Now we're going to get this other strap, and then we're rallying for our shot in the UFC.
Well, that's a hell of an accomplishment. You know what I mean? Your activity, your pace that you keep on your career, even fucking 10 years deep already. I mean, that's pretty insane stuff, man. That's very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's cut it off right there. Okay. I know you got some sponsors, and I know you're active on supporting them. So I want to give you the time that you need to go ahead and get this out. I know you got a bunch of them. So go ahead and take the floor. All right, just take as long as you need.
Yeah, we're ready, man. I just say shout out to all my sponsors: Harvest Health, the Plug 918, Core Hog, Seth with Killer Williams Realty, Midwest Extract, Evolved Health, Ryan and Rose Roofing, Broadway Barber, Simpson's Truck Line, Big Elks Energy and Gas, Keystone Chevrolet. Hopefully they'll give me a car eventually. All Britain Plumbing, my job, Tulsa Plastics. This pandemic has kept us very busy, and we deal with plexiglass. So I've been cutting all these plexiglasses. We've been making the thing. I appreciate my job for all their support. Code Zero Customs, Nick Sampson with HKA USA, sending me awesome gear, man, dude. I've got it all, man. I don't feel like I'm gonna have to worry about gear again, and I love it. Us fighters know it's tough dealing with gear, having to get gear. Gear gets stinky, it gets wet. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate you. I got CrossFit Sand Springs, Forza Combat. That's where I do my Muay Thai. If y'all look on UFC Fight Pass, I have a kickboxing fight on there. It's got 22,000 views. The highlight does on Facebook. You can also check that out. My kickboxing's no joke. That's why we the brick, baby. We're solid all over. Thunder Kick Fitness. That's where I do my jiu-jitsu and my sparring. Tulsa Sport Acupuncture. Got to get that acupuncture after all this hard training. I love the cupping. You'll see all the little circle cups on my back. Can't thank them enough. Fighting for Autism, official ambassador for Fighting for Autism. So I love supporting Fighting for Autism. The Office on Main. It's a bar here in my hometown. They support me when I fight locally. We usually go there for the after party. So they'll be having a watch party for my fight. So I really appreciate everybody that goes out there and supports me. Blue Line Signs. They make my shorts, my banners, my fight shirts. Micah Stockton. He's an MMA fighter, but he's also my New York life agent. He's got my life insurance. I really appreciate him. He's my training partner. He's my friend and my New York life agent. So that's pretty cool. And I just want to say thanks to all my sponsors. I really appreciate y'all. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Now, I tell you what, before I let you go, that fucking list that you just ran through, that shows you put in work, my friend. That shows that you put in work.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. If you go look me up, dude, there's a fighter fighting in the main event on Tuesday Night Contender Show. He has 300 followers. 300 followers on his fan page. Like, I got 2,500, man. 2,500 that I do by myself. You know, on Twitter, I'm not very active. Instagram, I'm almost got 1,000. But I'm seeing these guys, man, and I don't know who they're sucking off to get this, but man, maybe that's my problem. That I'm not, dude. But I'm gonna get there. It might be the long road and the hard road, but I'm gonna get there.
Well, you leave no stone unturned, but you're like you said, you're taking a hard road, and sometimes it's just more satisfying when you get there, knowing that you earned your keep. You know what I mean? You earned your spot.
Oh yeah, and not trying to dog him or anything, but look at the guy Max last week for an example, man. 5-0, gets his shot in the UFC. After 2 tough rounds, man, like he realized, like, man, dude, this might have been a little too soon for my career. You put somebody like me in there, 13-5. I've been knocked out. I've came back from my knockout losses. I've never lost twice in a row. I've been the main event on LFC, on LFA, UFC Vets, local. I've been main event in UFC Fight Pass twice. This will be my 3rd UFC Fight Pass main event. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. And these guys that are just picking up quick wins with fighting doo-doo guys, man, and they get their shot in the UFC and it doesn't work out for them. It's like, you didn't earn your keep. I've earned my keep and I'm ready for my shot.
I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it. So good luck to you. The fight is on the 24th, so we're about, a month away? 30 days away?
31 days tomorrow. So I'm ready. Weight's good already. Like I said, I've been at it. We've been training, rallying for any and everything. I wanted to stay ready for the UFC on short notice. I'm 3-1 in my last 4, and I think that's what's kind of holding me back. I'm only on a 1-fight win streak, but this pandemic really put things back, and the UFC not deciding if they're going to keep the flyweight or the bantamweight, or the flyweight divisions really made me go back and forth. But I'm staying at flyweight, and we're making a run at this, baby.
Well, like I said, title in a little bit over a month. And then just stay ready, man. Just stay ready, because they could pull you before that. They're pulling fighters left and right, guys that haven't even been in the organization for 6 years. Pineda just got signed. Arosa's on his 3rd fucking stint. He just got signed. They're pulling women's fight. I mean, everybody. So you just stay ready, man. And if not, good luck on the 24th of next month. My eyes will be there. I won't be there in person, but I'll be there in spirit. Okay. And just stay safe, train hard, and get the weight cut taken care of, and just get to the fight and do your thing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, and thank you to HeadKick Audio for doing this interview. I really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the support. I can't wait.
All right, man. Well, like I said, we'll be seeing you in a month, and then I'll make sure I get you on all that social media. We'll get you all tagged.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night.
You too. Later, man.